is when all the states were not given separate constitutional rights, why was it allowed in case of Kashmir? Why did we give them to make a constitution assembly by themselves? If they had come to us, they should have come under our umbrella.
Right.
Why was it given to them?
And there, I think the fundamental premise for a special relationship is a serious problem. Yes, sir. According to me, and here I think Mr. Jagmohan's book becomes very relevant, wherein he says that by not allowing normalization of Kashmir at par with the rest of the country, and by allowing it to retain what it believes is a certain demographic ratio, India has perhaps played into the hands of people who wish to create another bifurcation, so to speak, and people who will never be happy with the rise of India. There, I think, what they ended up doing was to choose between the greater of the two evils, which is allowing Kashmir to be independent is a mirage. Allowing Kashmir to go to Pakistan is unacceptable. So let us retain Kashmir no matter what the cost. And that bargaining principle or that bargaining approach effectively is the price for which we are paying today, according to me. My point is perhaps you could have agreed to it at that particular stage when the accession was necessary. But between 1951 and 56, when the Constitution of Kashmir was being drafted, perhaps we could have discussed that, let's call it a special package the way it is being discussed for Telangana, on the condition that there cannot be any condition with respect to retaining the demographic parity. You can never say that it will be 76% M and 24% non-M, because that is an argument that no other state of India can make with respect to whatever the composition. Perhaps there, I think, it is easy for us to comment on what they could have done or should have done. I am simply saying that they were choosing, or they decided to choose between two of those evils. However, subsequently, the government of India, according to me, has not behaved as a confident state with respect to Kashmir. It has always been diffident in its approach, as opposed to saying that this belongs to me, there is no question about it. It's not enough for you to say it, it's important for you to walk that particular talk. You have chosen to specifically pander to certain vested interests by making them the voice of the people, as a consequence of which you have created a Frankenstein's monster, which is now making you dance to its tunes. 2, when demarcation is limited and that issue is entirely given to the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, it also creates a hurdle for trifurcation of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which is where the letter of the president of the Buddhist Association of Ladakh becomes very important, because he said, Ladakh has always been historically different and independent of what you know as Kashmir. We were at one point part of Tibet, with whom we share a significant cultural relationship, but we don't wish to be a part of Tibet because we want to be part of the mothership of our faith, which is India. That was Ladakh's position, and that remains Ladakh's position. If, at least at that point of time, we had said, we will treat Kashmir perhaps separately for a temporary point of time, but Ladakh and Jammu shall not be part of that particular discussion, because they are non-Muslim majority areas and they have acceded to India. If you had taken that particular position, the scope of the problem and the territorial scope of the problem would have been limited to perhaps 4 or 5 districts. That's it. Today, the bulk of the attention, the bulk of the economic package goes to one particular area, and everybody else is effectively a supplicant to that particular area, and they do not have independent voices. These are potential solutions that I think they could have worked upon. And most importantly, I think after having captured 90,000 Pakistani soldiers in 1971, you should have used that as a serious bargaining chip to finish the issue once and for all. Because effectively, one entire flank of that particular country was at your mercy. They could not have fought on multiple theaters, and you had the upper hand. You had a few people like the USSR jump into your support along with Israel, which was giving you material. Therefore, that was perhaps the best window available to you to settle that particular issue, because that would have left only one outstanding issue. Aksai Chin, which is with China, and that portion of Kashmir which was ceded by Pakistan to China in 1963. The rest of the portion would have come to you completely. In fact, as part of his speech, Sheikh Abdullah also says, Pakistan cannot be a representative for Kashmir because it has proven its perfidy and its perfidious nature by swallowing the princely state of Kalat, which you know as Balochistan today. Yes. And they say that just as they need Balochistan for minerals, they will use us for the same thing. They have no other interest. Because if Pakistan truly represents the interests of Muslim, how do they respond and answer to the rape of Muslim women as part of the invasion in 1948? That's a question that Sheikh Abdullah asked. Okay. Now, I am not saying whether he was truthful in what he said. I'm simply taking his words on face value for a moment because I put a serious caveat here. I am not an expert on Kashmir. There are supremely better at people than me when it comes to this subject. But even based on my limited reading so far, I am asking myself, how did you allow Pakistan to become the voice of Kashmir successively and increasingly over the last 70 years? That is something that we shouldn't have done.